What is the link between a derelict crypt and the matchstick man of Merthyr? Hi everyone, yes, we're back in Merthyr. We're not in the town at the moment, we're high above it and the view from here is glorious. But it's going to get better as we are continuing a climb up this mountain to find Morlais Castle. Now when I say find a castle, there's nothing to see of the castle standing above ground these days, but it's still an interesting place to visit and I think you're gonna like it.
What's the fence for? And then we came across here and look at that. There's a huge hole, a big ravine. I wouldn't want to get to the bottom of that.
I think I can see somebody's phone down there.
Oh yes, I'm not going over to get it.
No, if they didn't think it was safe, I'm not going to. And perhaps they tried and they're down the bottom of the ravine.
They may be. Look at that view. And can you hear that wind? They're in the distance of the Brecon beacons. It's interesting that you can see the base of the tower here and the rounded walls, and then all of the building is in a big heap in the bottom. Well, probably not all. I can't see any fancy stone at all. But there's another room, it looks like. And I wonder what that was. I wonder if there was a big huge tower on the top of that. Now I'm stood on the wall, well, at the sort of bottom. It would have been the top, but it's now the bottom. You can see the curvature of the wall very easily. And this was an ideal vantage point. Imagine trying to sneak up on this place. You wouldn't stand a chance. They could see you for miles. I was looking down and I thought, oh, what's that? Do you think that's part of a very old ring? Something really exciting? Nope. It's a bit of root, but it did look exciting for a while, didn't it? Look at the cracks in these rocks. They've just split open and gone wider and wider apart. You can see when the water goes in the winter and then it freezes and turns into ice and expands, crack, even more cracks, and comes off, and then it all ends up down there. There's rather large scree. I don't know if there's a size that is allowed to be scree or whether you can count anything that falls off to be scree. But that's what it makes me think of, just very large. Look at the trees. There aren't many trees, but the ones that are there are real survivors. You can see over there, nothing. Then you get back here and there are a few stragglers that have managed to grow. Oh, they deserve a medal. In all this rock, in all this cold and all the wind, the winter is not a good place to be up here. There's somebody very noisy down there. Oh, I can see there's JCBs. They're doing something with the road. I want to live down there. I think I'm pointing to it. Oh, there's a huge house down there. Oh, that would suit me nicely. Is this a fossilised dragon footprint? It could be. If you look up, that's where the castle was. I wonder if that is a dragon that used to protect this castle. That would be exciting. Up there is a very tall hill, and next door to it is a very neat wall. When you compare it to everything else here, which is in ruins, do you think that could be the crypt? Let's go have a look. It's going to be a bit of a climb, so brace yourselves, but we can do it. Come on everybody, onwards and upwards. Got up this close and I can see the top of what looks like an arch. Let's go have a look, see if that's a doorway. Oh, it's looking bigger. I think that could be the crypt. Oh, this is so exciting. Now this is going to be very rough underfoot, so very wobbly, but I thought you'd want to see the discovery of the crypt. I hope you're feeling brave. I'm feeling less brave the closer I get. Oh, it's dark. That is really super scary. Wow! Oh, look at this! That is fabulous! Wow, an abandoned derelict crypt. All the castle is gone, everything is in ruins except for this. And look at the way the arches are still supporting the ceiling. I hope they keep supporting it till I go home. Look at that. And there's all blue on the walls here. So, do you think that's part of an old fresco, or do you think that's mould? I think that's mould. It's very beautiful, but I think it's mould. There's a hole there, and I can hear a fly buzzing somewhere. I'm hoping he's not buzzing on anything that's dead.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm feeling rather warm on this October day, as it's about 20 degrees, and it was a climb. But, as Caroline said, it feels worth it. It feels worth it to us. Hope it does to you, because we are standing in the only remaining integral part of what was a colossal castle. Right up here, so high, looking out for miles and miles around. As Caroline mentioned, it's probably a wonderful location if you wanted to be able to see who's coming, but it did have a downside, because it's a pretty isolated location for a residence, and I can assure you, we picked our day to walk up here, because you wouldn't want to do this even in the autumn if it was raining, and the winter is bleak and cold. So it is said that this castle was never actually fully completed, because it was abandoned before the final touches were put to it. Yet, it was in the ownership of 3 people during its short time of being constructed. Because way back in the 13th century, the Earl of Gloucester decided to build a castle here. But the land was disputed by the Earl of Hereford, who said he owned it. So the pair of them couldn't settle their differences without a fight, and a war broke out between them. Of course, that upset the king, because the king had to get his lot and march down from North Wales to sort these pair out, and he fined them for wasting his time and for being so daft. And that's the link between Matchstick Man and this crypt, because there was a fight over the crypt in order that one could walk away with the prize. And the Merthyr Matchstick Man was none other than Johnny Owens, that amazing 1970s boxer. The amazing thing is, they built this thing so far up that it was not suitable as a residence when all the battling was over. But even when they were thinking, they had got the perfect spot. So much so that the Earls fought over it, and King Edward I of England had to come and sort it out. It was still taken in battle by one of the Welsh princes, Madog ab Llywelyn. So, didn't quite do the job when it came to battles. Certainly wouldn't do the job when it came to a des res, when all the wars were over and those pesky Welsh were defeated for a time. So it ended up like this. But if you'd come here in 1740, you'd have seen towering walls standing atop of this hill. How do I know? Because there is an etching of this location taken in 1740, and that's what it shows.
Look at this. This is the circular floor of one of the towers, and it's huge, and look at that view. Can you imagine somebody coming over the mountains in the distance thinking, let's go take Morlais Castle, and Morlais Castle thinking, you haven't got a chance.
Yes, Merthyr was definitely a town associated with the sport of boxing. It wasn't just Johnny Owen's Matchstick Man, who I remember so well because he tragically and sadly died in 1980, and of course I was 20 years of age, so followed his career as a teenager. But there were other champions there too, and they have paid tribute to their champions in Merthyr by putting statues around the town, because they are so proud of the men that took the name of Merthyr and spread it around not only this country but the world. Because at one time Merthyr was known as the British capital of boxing, and when you've got a world champion, then Merthyr's going to get known elsewhere too. One of those champions was the featherweight champion of the world in 1968. His name was Howard Winston, but he was better known as the Welsh Wizard. And then there was the British champion, Eddie Thomas, as well as I've mentioned, the Matchstick Man, Merthyr Matchstick, the Bionic Bantam, Johnny Owen, the greatest legend to come out of this valley and out of this town. Born and bred in Merthyr, he made the people of Merthyr so proud. Yes, back in the day, people flocked to watch the fights in Merthyr, down in the old town hall. Thousands would come. And it was a place that was described by an ex-president of the Boxing Association in Britain as the hotbed of boxing during the 1930s, the 1960s and into the 70s. And for British boxers at that time, to fight in Merthyr was the pinnacle of their boxing career.
Monkey shouted he found another ball. Well done, Monkey. How many is that? We'll find out on the live show on Saturday night, 9 o'clock, British summertime. Join us and you'll find out how many balls Monkey found and how many times he appeared on this lovely video on a lovely day, which I'm really enjoying. Look at that, for peace and quiet.
Well, we've had a wonderful time up here on top of a hill way above Merthyr, looking for a crypt and finding it. Fantastic. There was a moment when Caroline and I thought 5 more minutes, we got to give up. We can't walk anymore, but we found it. And of course, the link between the Battle of the Earls with the king as a referee back in 1290 right through to the 1950s, 60s and 70s, with the battles that took place in boxing rings in Merthyr, created world champions and put the town on the map. Hope you've enjoyed this trip. If you have, please give us a thumbs up.
Doing, doing, doing.
And don't forget, till the next time we're out and about, have fun. Bye.
Bye.